Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the New Zealand edition. We're going to take a look at the weather for the coming week. It's going to be quite a week. Think of Mother Nature just sitting there at the traffic light. All of a sudden she goes, vroom, oh, off we go. That is pretty much the weather, and you can see these big sweeps of cloud looking at things from the wider shot. That is what is coming in, the first piece of it, and even in the northern hemisphere. Stuff is going on. The old jet stream is really sort of going into full speed. Coming in close, see this boomerang shape of cloud there. Australia sits here. Cloud is yellow, higher, colder cloud tops, the infrared. You can see some lightning with this, but you see how this is bending in, but it's hitting this brick wall, this barrier, big upper ridge that is sitting in place. That's been our fine weather, but this is going to work through, and another piece here will all come around and it's just going to cut off and turn into this big, what I call washing machine low, that's going to sit and spin. So that's the first thing there. This is looking at the upper levels. Where you see blue, that's upper energy, a little filament there. Where you see red, that's quieter, down energy of sorts. There's your ridge. There's the first, what we call upper shortwave. There's the second one. So what happens? This thing comes through Sunday night into Monday. That will then slide itself through, and watch, by the time we go to the middle part of the week, the second one, boom, and it all winds up and just closes off into this big circular spinning thing of just wetter weather, wind and rain. By the end of the week, that thing will rotate through, still with us, still with the blue, so it's unsettled, it's wet, it's windy, and that little bend there is an upper ridge. That means quieter weather by the end of the week, but there's a lot of wind and rain to come through. This is Monday. So the leading edge of the front works through spells of rain, heavy, perhaps thundery. There'll be some good gales on that leading frontal boundary too, and northern places from the Bay of Plenty all the way Auckland, the west coast, Taranaki. You'll get a good surge of some rain, turning into a bit of a more broken, showery spell through the end of Monday as the first boundary pushes through. Good squeeze of the winds, good old northerly. There's the centre of the low, and the dry slot there will work through. But we're not done. Remember, there's all this. The second low there, that starts to work towards us by Tuesday. So Tuesday could start off as a drier, brighter day. And for many eastern areas, you'll be saying, well, where's all the rain? You'll be otherwise dry. With this flow, it's spots that are in the western and northern facing coast, you get the most of the rain. Dry, warm flow, 18, perhaps 19 degrees to the far south, Dunedin, Invercargill. By the time we get to the middle part of the week, and even Tuesday, your numbers will be coming up. Some 20s too, further north. That's the next system to slide through for Tuesday. Bang! Through Wednesday. Another spell of strong to severe gales where you see these things squeeze through, particularly say like around Cook Strait, Wellington. You'll have strong to severe gales. So we'll get surges of rain. This will be one of those weeks where your app will go, it keeps changing. The reason why, it's getting used to the timing of these systems. They're moving so quickly, they can't even keep up the computer model. So it's literally keep an eye on these things as they come through. Notice by the time we get to the middle part of the week, all of this is blustery showers. First boundaries are through. What was a northerly flow becomes more of a westerly flow, and then the cooler air, snow level of 1,000 meters there by Thursday, works. And you see how we're stuck with this engine room of low pressure right through the week. Notice Australia with a westerly flow, they do fine. We've got all the wet weather, offshore flow, and of course after all the wet weather they've had in Sydney, they'll do better. It'll be a southerly there, but at least a much quieter week with high pressure for them. We'll get that by the weekend, but look at this. By Friday, going more south and west, that's cooler air, snow level of 1,000 meters to the far south, hints of that cooler change. So after what our temperatures, probably upper teens to 20s, by Friday, kicking back down, Dunedin, Invercargill, you may be only looking at 12 or 13, and frost returning probably over the weekend as the high starts to settle in. There you go. So a lot of wind, a lot of rain this week. By next weekend, we have a new high. But have you noticed the highs are a little bit smaller and we're just getting more oomph in the atmosphere? That's because the polar vortex down south is really flexing its elbows, and La Nina, it is still there, but it's just sort of feeling the effects of this more active spell of weather. That's the rainfall for the week. Where you see purple, that's over 100 millimeters of rain, and there's already some Met Service watches and warnings. Places like the eastern ranges of the Bay of Plenty, and in particular western coasts of, say, the North Island, usual places for the west of the South Island, over 100 millimeters of rain. Strong to severe gales from Northland right the way down to perhaps parts of the upper North Island and through Cook Strait. Where you see light blue, parts of Canterbury, you may only get 5 millimeters because the flow, if you're like spraying a hose on a pole, the other side doesn't get much rain. That's exactly what happens. That's your flow. But it's going to be a wet, it's going to be a windy week, however you want to slice it. Things quietening down by next weekend though. That's the weather for now.